We're going to be talking about the penis. We'll be talking about the vagina. Do you find that funny, audience? Do you find it amusing that we'll be talking about the testicles? Yes, we will also be talking about venereal disease, sexual intercourse, and we will definitely be spending a lot of time talking about masturbation. It's the Going Off Podcast with Rap, Critic, and Muse. Yo, Muse, how you doing?
I'm doing fantastic, and I know everybody's scrolling down to the time codes. Those topics aren't guaranteed. That is just a brief overview of what you can possibly expect. This week, we are joined once again by our great friend, the one, the only, Kill Bill in the house!
What's good, y'all? What's good? I'm changing my rap name to Young Jeezy.
Okay, is he not using it anymore?
Y'all can't call me Kill Bill for the rest of this. Y'all have to call me specifically Young Jeezy, because Jeezy already exists. He dropped the Young, so now I am Young Jeezy.
Well, wouldn't you want to call yourself Young Yeezy?
No.
Because technically, he doesn't have that name.
No, I want to be Young Jeezy.
Who doesn't?
I listened to Can't Ban the Snowman 20 times today. It's a fire mixtape. DJ Drama. I have a bottom grill. And like it's just the whole, it's like the 6 teeth on the bottom, right? And like it's removable, obviously. I can't hardly talk with it in, but like I'm so afraid that I'm gonna get hit in the face, and it's just like all those teeth are just gonna like come back like at once, and like I'm gonna lose all my teeth in one shot. Like if I got in a fight with my grill on, like that's if you go for the lower jaw area, like I'm fucked. You know what I'm saying? So. It's a struggle out here. People be out here fighting with grills on. Hats off to them, but I don't know how you do it.
Did Young Jeezy have a grill?
I don't think he did.
Not you, but the previously known as Young Jeezy. I should probably
artist
specify.
Formerly known as Young Jeezy. I don't think he had a grill. I don't remember him ever having one.
But
Gucci definitely did, and they almost squared up.
Young Jeezy had to have had a grill.
I don't think so, though.
He thought grills were lame, like Wiz Khalifa now thinks lean is lame. That's what, in the business, we call a segue.
Wait, I just want to say real quick, apparently Young Jeezy's teeth fell out during a performance?
What is it with rappers' teeth? Is that why they're just preemptively like, nah, I better dip this shit in gold? Because something's gonna fucking happen.
Yo, hold on. I just want to say this. I know that we were about to do this masterful segue, and then me and Rap Critic are just fucking shoving our dicks in it right now.
You're taking simultaneous shits all over.
So there's a video of like Slim Thug, and you know he had platinum. Like each tooth was covered, like it was like the old school like permanent grill, right? And he got them taken off, and like there's a video. I remember seeing it when I was in like high school, and I was like, he got them taken off to get his teeth cleaned and all that stuff. And they took it off, and his teeth were so freakishly white and straight and good. And I was like, how the fuck? Like, are they so nice? After he said it'd been like 7 years since he took them off.
Is that what got you into hip hop? Seeing his amazing.
I remember seeing that, and I was like, "Today's the day. I'm gonna be Young Jeezy one day."
Mm-hmm. What about Wiz Khalifa? I didn't mean to do a transition there like fucking Nardwar. What do you know about Wiz Khalifa? I haven't really heard too much about your boy in a while, and now apparently there's an Instagram video where he's saying, lean is lame. Drawing a line in the sand.
Well, but not really.
Taking a hard stance.
Not really.
I don't think that was a very hard stance. That was like a kind of like oh yeah, lean's lame. I mean, if you do lean, you know, do you. But like if you don't do lean, then like...
I mean, like it was just like, wait, well, that was the fucking point.
I think he was just saying that you don't have to do anything to try to fit in. And like...
Yeah.
I think that's literally all he was saying, but that dude was just high as fuck and was just kind of saying it how it came out, and it sounded kind of cool, so he just ran with it.
Yeah, because it's just like, if you do it, then, I mean, you know, keep doing it. But, like, other people don't think that is cool. It's like, well, if you're not willing to, like, you know, but, like, it's like, man, killing people is not good. I mean, you know, if you killed someone already, I mean, you know, that's cool. But, like, don't do it after when I say to not do it. Like, what?
Yeah, he's saying that if you're gonna do lean, you have to do it for the right reasons. Okay, if you don't, not because you want to fit in, but because you are dealing with depression or something like that, and that's your way to escape into a harmful drug habit. That's what he's saying. Okay, and that's
exactly what he meant.
Well, this kind of like ties in with like who's his name? What's his name? Russ. Y'all know what I'm talking about?
Russ
is like a new rapper. He's kind of popping off right now, but like he's like anti SoundCloud rapper basically, and he has like he wears that shirt. It says like Zans are for idiots or some shit. I don't remember what it was.
Oh shit!
And like it was a big thing, you know. And like now, regardless of how good his music is, I don't really know anything about his music. I just know about that. But like now, he's become like a J. Cole type character, like or a Hobson type character, where it's like a I wouldn't say J. Cole type character because J. Cole's not really like that, but you know what I mean? Like he's hated by the SoundCloud community.
Like this is the guy who's preachy, and so we automatically don't like him. Yeah. All right, you have this video called "Lean is Lame," and then you do a crying, laughing emoji face and a plane, which like, well, what? And then, but like, if you're gonna make that stance, like just be like, yo. I've seen people die because of that shit. We need to fucking cut it out. Like, that would have been dope. But he's just like, yeah, if you're gonna do it, I mean, if you already do it, then okay. Because he knows he doesn't want any real beef with anybody. Like, I feel like in his head, he heard, like, if I actually say, like, don't do lean and I'm taking a hard line against it, there's a lot of rappers that I'm gonna be starting beef with, you know? So he just went like, I mean, if you do it, you know, you can do it, but like, don't do it after I make this message? Like, what?
Does he realize how easy it is to just not post something?
Yeah, it's like he might as well have just not said anything. Like, who in the world just saw that? What impressionable? It's probably like 5 kids out there who are just like, you know what? Yeah, I don't want to do lean anymore, but I'm not going to dislike people who do lean. And that's like what he was going for. It's probably like 5 kids out there who are like,
well,
yeah.
See, they probably went like this. You know, they heard like, wow, one of my favorite rappers just said lean is whack. Oh, wait, no, he said I can still keep doing it. All right, never mind.
Yeah, exactly. That's like, there was another thing too when Bones had this whole big thing where he like came out and said like, I don't pop Xans because pills are for pussies. And then there was like this whole like big thing, like him and Suicide Boys almost got into beef and like all this shit. And it was like literally like, I don't know. I don't understand it. How come like someone can't take a stand against like something that they see is clear, like the opioid epidemic in it's clearly a huge problem. And I don't think that it's wrong to take a stand against it. Me personally, I don't want to do that with my platform. Like that isn't something that I feel super strongly about, you know, but I do think it's a problem, you know, and they should be allowed to say shit without rappers getting in their fucking feelings about it.
Yeah. The thing about it is, it's like with music in a way, like people take, except it's a lot more dangerous. Like people take, you know, their chemical dependencies and they take it as an insult if you come at those chemical dependencies instead of being able to separate it from, you know, yeah, I make music about this because that's how my life is right now, as opposed to someone who's trying to say, hey, for the future, let's, you know, lessen let's lessen how this is influencing people. You know what I mean? Let's try to actively take a stand against it. If you're already doing it, I encourage you to not, but I can't make you not do it. All I can say is for the next generation of people, you know, this shit isn't cool. You know, like that would have been a lot more of a nuanced message instead of just saying, I mean, if you do it, that's cool, but like, don't, it's whack. Like, what?
He probably didn't even give it that much thought, though. He probably was just like, I'm gonna get on live and say some shit to change the kids' lives.
You do you know, do whatever you want. Don't give other people a hard time for what they want to do, but don't feel pressured to do it because other people are. That's the underlining thing. And how long did it take for him to completely butcher that shit and not make any sense?
No, but I wonder if there are like other Wiz Khalifa videos that we just don't know about because people just aren't watching and are just like, man, light bulbs are a blight on society. We need to fucking crush all light bulbs, y'all. Let's fucking do it. And he's just like, light bulbs are lame.
If you use light bulbs, like, that's cool. But, like, light bulbs are fucking lame, dog. Like,
What am I supposed to do with that information?
I don't know. I think we all know what he was trying to say. We all know what he was trying to say, and that's what's important. But like the average, like just little 15-year-old is gonna be like, I don't know what he said.
I'm so confused. I think I need some drugs.
But yo, he's always been on that health tip, man. He's always been like, don't smoke blunts. Those will give you cancer. Smoke papers instead. So there you go. That's something you learn from Wiz Khalifa. You know,
he's kind of like Snoop Dogg, I think, in a way. Like, he just does weed.
Yeah,
like,
no, he's always been
completely fine with that.
But I feel like he's even deeper into it than Snoop is, because like he's been like all like dabbed out for the past few years. I feel like dabs is like a completely different realm. Like you're like sacrificing parts of your day to do that. You know what I mean?
Yo, so I think we need to talk about what everyone's going to ask us to talk about, what everyone's been asking me to talk about, and now that we're finally talking about it, people are probably going to move on to the next thing. But let's talk about it anyway. Eminem's Walk on Water song.
Oh shit. Eminem, Beyonce collabing together with a pianist.
Is the pianist getting credited? Like, is this one of those scenarios where it was like Rihanna, Kanye,
no,
fucking Paul McCartney?
Although, you know what's funny? Skylar Grey apparently played the piano for this song.
And she wrote the hook,
she did.
I think. Yeah.
Yeah, and she just seems to be like the person, like, is she just like Eminem's muse? Like, for the last couple albums? Because it feels like...
Hell, I guess.
She's all over his songs, but it feels like she never gets, like, any real credit for anything.
Can I make a confession to you guys?
What?
For the longest time, I thought Skylar Grey was a porn star.
Me too! I thought...
Is there, like, a porn star with a similar name or something?
It's like
There
Amber
is.
Gray or something like that.
No, I think it's like...
There's got to
Was
be
it
a Skylar
Sasha?
something. No,
Sasha Grey.
Grey.
Sasha
Yeah,
Grey.
okay, Sasha Grey.
Yeah.
So Skylar Grey is the new Dido.
Oh my god, I forgot about Dido.
If we're going to bring it back to Stan for the third week in a row.
I like how at the end of the song, he's just like, fuck y'all, I wrote Stan.
Yeah.
Right?
That was the funniest shit ever. That's my favorite part of the song.
And the thing is, like, it wasn't even part of, like, you know, the traditional 3-verse structure. It was just, like, tail end. Like, he was just like, oh shit, I thought of something.
Yeah. So you guys want to talk about the content of this song, or like?
Well, honestly, I more want to talk about porn stars because
Okay.
you know, there's this
okay.
Huffington Post thing that says James Dean, which
Oh, yeah. He's a piece of shit.
as much as his name is worth nowadays, but in 2013 there was an article that quoted him as saying Sasha Grey's name is the name that is not said in this business anymore. Which is hilarious to me, knowing what would happen not even like 2 or 3 years fucking later. It's like, oh yeah, well, Sasha Grey. Hey, I, James Dean, am saying that Sasha Grey's name is gonna be fucking mud in this industry. And I say that
upstanding
confidently.
citizen James Dean.
Never committed a sin in my life, James Dean.
I will cast the first stone, James Dean. What a piece of shit. You know, I saw recently someone... I'm sorry. I don't mean to get off on a whole tear.
For those who don't know, we're not talking about like the guy who died in the 50s.
No.
We're not?
We're not talking about the devil, the rebel without a cause. We're not talking about... Jeez. We're talking about fucking life imitating art. A dude who was famous for doing rough sex scenes, who apparently was also just really abusive in real life.
Yeah, which kind of
How about that?
That kind of fucks up the whole scene, doesn't it? Like, you think if you were involved in that shit, right? If you're doing porn and you're involved in, like, really, you'd think you'd mind your fucking P's and Q's outside of it, because it's like, I need to make sure that people are safe.
You would think so, but it feels like a lot of times, like anything I've heard about the porn industry is like really disgusting. Like a lot of times, like it'll be like girls will get pressured into doing shit they don't want to do, and people will get fucked over pay wise and stuff, and like I don't know, like just boundaries are completely gone. And I know, like you're signing up to be a porn star, you're signing up to do shit that you probably wouldn't do in real life. You know, but at the same time, like, I mean, consent is consent. I don't know. It's fucked up. That's why I've never watched porn in my life.
I'm a good person.
I am Young Jeezy, and I have never watched porn in my years.
Wasn't James Dean also in the lemon stealing whores viral video?
That was
Oh
him.
my
and
god, I forgot about that.
I honestly think that's why it was such like a crushing blow. Cause like women liked him. Like that lemon stealing whores video was the first time I had ever heard like a girl talk about porn.
Yeah.
Like, because they're like, oh my god, have you seen this video, lemon stealing whores? Yeah, it's really silly, and then it turns into a real porn scene, but it's okay, because it's fucking James Dean, and he's, you know, really handsome, and da-da-da-da. It was just like, wow, I've never heard, like, maybe I was just out of the circles, and maybe this is just like, you know, everyone has the first time having that conversation about porn, but I had never really heard women talk about it like that until fucking James Dean, you know?
Man, it's fucked up though. Me and Rav were talking about this the other day. Like, I'm afraid to get on Twitter now because I'm afraid I'm going to go on and be like, hey, you know your favorite person? They're a fucking rapist. I knew it was a big deal. Like, okay, because like the Louis C.K. thing that happened, like Rav was always like a big Louis C.K. fan and shit. And like, I mean,
me too.
I liked Louis C.K., but it wasn't like one of those things where I like went out of my way to like watch him. But Rav like showed me Louis C.K. I remember like when we were living together and he was just like, yo, dude, you got to check this shit out. And I like watched it. It was funny as fuck. And like, I know he was like taking that shit pretty hard, man. Like a lot of people was like people that you care about, and then all this shit about like I don't know if like it was even true or not, but the shit that happened with like George Takei, I don't know how to say his name.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like I don't even know.
That one's a hard one.
That is a hard one.
We were thinking about, and this is where we fucking jinx it. We were talking about people that most people would just be absolutely surprised and shook if they were to hear. Because, I mean, with Louis, we kind of heard those rumors, or people were saying that he was doing those things years ago. Apparently, even the George Takei thing is even like a 2-year-old news story that's only now getting traction again.
Yeah.
A lot of people are saying Weird Al would be a big shock.
No, don't say that shit.
Oh, me and Rav had this conversation the other day.
Stop trying to get out ahead of shit.
No, that would be awful.
Look, shit's bad enough, all right?
You know who I said? I don't know if you guys even really like fuck with them like that, but I said Dan from the Game Grumps.
Oh my god, dude! I could never.
He's like the most pure creature I can think of.
Dude, you know what? All right. If we're gonna do that, if we're gonna play this game, Mr. Rogers.
Oh, isn't he dead?
Mr. Rogers is dead.
I know, but what if like a story came out? It was like, yo,
I would weirdly like not be
bubble.
that surprised because like I feel like he was from a time period, even though he's like the nicest person ever, but he was from a time period where like people were pieces of shit, and then everyone's like, it was the 40s or 50s or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think we'd ever hear about Mr. Rogers. I don't think we'd ever hear about Bob Ross. I don't think we'd ever hear about Bill Nye the Science Guy. Weird Al's pretty up there. Danny is a pretty good one. I was saying Obama.
Yeah,
that would. I think that would be
no,
like a really.
No, that can't happen. The reason why
it can't happen, or it shouldn't happen.
No. The reason why it can't is because he is the first black president. If that was a thing that was that had really happened, we would have fucking heard about it.
That's true.
That is
Think
true.
about that for a second. And let's not fake people out anymore. Let's actually talk about the Eminem song.
Eminem! Dude, what if we heard allegations against Eminem?
No one would ever accuse him of doing anything bad.
Like, if that came out, I'd be like, yeah, all right.
We were talking about,
be entirely
said that shit. We were like talking about like, what if Eminem did everything that he's ever said in any of his songs?
Oh.
Like, what if he did everything? Everything was like a word for word life story. And then like we were just like, well, Dr. Dre would have been dead like 5 times.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Like just everyone but his daughter is safe. I mean, sorry,
pretty
not
much.
safe. No one is safe but his daughter.
He would have crashed a plane into
he crashed a plane.
Afghanistan or some shit.
Eminem
all
did
the crazy
9/11.
outlandish shit he said he was gonna do. Like, he would have ran into the Oval Office and beat up Bush.
Somewhere under a lock and key is a music video where Eminem is dressed like a mummy with his wrist slit.
Dude, all I'm saying is he thought about it, And he looked at that awfully hot coffee pot and he said, I'm about to dump this on Donald Trump's head. But then he said, should I do that? Probably not. You know?
And he apparently ripped out Hillary Clinton's tonsils and fed her sherbet.
Oh, yeah, reason. That's right. I forgot about that. That did happen.
Damn, he did a lot of wild shit in his fucking music. What do you think about it?
And that was not news for some reason.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. I'm sure there's someone, like, in the 90s, there was a concerned parent that was like, oh, my God, he's done all of these things. This hooligan needs to be silenced.
What do you guys think of this song?
I enjoyed it. I thought it was cool. I wasn't expecting it because I didn't know he was working on any upcoming project besides that freestyle. I guess that should have been a clue, though, because he doesn't just do shit like that and not be, like, trying to get his name back out there for... Like, because I think the last time, like, right after that was the fucking Marshall Mathers LP too, so he always tries to get out there, remind people a little bit, as if people need to be reminded of Eminem. But I thought the song was cool, tearing away the macho, tough guy facade, which is so prevalent, and just kind of being like, hey, you know, I'm insecure too. The comments that people say, the criticism, that gets to me, you know. I always want to be my best for you guys, and that's really stressful, and that's a really hard image to uphold. And I thought the song overall was cool. I thought it sounded cool. I thought the somber piano was a nice change for Eminem. The chorus by Beyonce was cool. And the ending was really funny. Out of nowhere, the fucking record scratching, and you know the whole thing is, you know, I'm not God. I walk on water. I would drown like everyone else because I'm just like you. And then at the end, Eminem is just like, except when I got a mic in my hand, then I'm godlike, and it's just suddenly like, there he is for the last like 15 seconds.
And it's so funny. Like I listened to that song and I was like. Something told me to listen all the way to the end. Like,
yeah, that was the same way. Like, I remember being like, I feel like I'm gonna miss something if I turn it off. I think that it was cool that he was like so freakishly honest, and we got to see like a little bit more of like Marshall and less of M. You know what I'm saying? Even though I'm pretty sure they're the same person, but you know what I mean? Like, it's like, it was like a lot, pretty sincere, and it's like cool that he's not just like acting like people haven't been saying this, or like he hasn't been like old school hip hop heads or like new school people have like been kind of saying like he's fell off or whatever. It's cool that he's like acknowledging like a truth, you know what I mean? And showing his insecurities and stuff like that, right? So like as the content of the song itself, I think is really cool, right? That being said, I am never going to listen to this song ever again in my life. It's like one of those things, like as a message, it's cool. Like if you're literally looking at the song as like okay, this is what's going on in his life. But then you could just like look at it like this, like if I really wanted to hear like good lyrics and like not that good of like song structure, or like not that, like, I mean, I don't really listen to a lot of Beyonce, like outside of like old shit. You know what I'm saying? So I don't really care about the Beyonce feature. I think it's cool. Like, I just think it's kind of corny. Like the production is just like this fucking piano, and it's like not really going anywhere, and it doesn't really.
I will say, yeah, it does feel like it's like, is this not building to anything? Like, you're not going to add like any more strings or just like something, you know what I mean? Like, because it should feel like if you're gonna.
I was watching Everyday Struggle about that shit, and they were talking about it, and Joe Budden was trying to think of a word. He kept trying to use the word climax, wasn't the right thing. The word he was trying to use was crescendo. He was like, "What is the word? It starts with a C." That's the word he was talking about, by the way. But yeah, no, like I just feel like it kind of meanders and doesn't really go anywhere, and it's cool to listen to like one time, but I'm never going to be like, oh shit, put that fucking song on. I'm never going to be riding with my boys and be like, yo, y'all heard this new Eminem, you know?
Yeah, it feels like a one-off single. It doesn't feel like this is going to be on the album.
If it is on the album, I think it's going to be like a bad album. Like just off rip. I think that's my prediction.
I'll say the first time I listened to it, I didn't like it. Like I'm listening to it and I'm like, I enjoy the super, Eminem rapping fucking circles around himself while also criticizing himself. And it's like, it's kind of interesting. It's kind of fascinating. Like, it reminds me of Andre 3000. It's like these guys who are like, honestly, incredible rappers, but they think they suck. It was just like, well, what? Yeah. It was like, the hell's wrong with you? I would give anything
I think it's
to be
just
able
like
to put
that
the words
thing.
together the way you do.
It's that thing of like people who are like, I can't remember. There's actually like it's not like a syndrome, but it's like a state of mind or something where like people who are really good at their art form, their craft, or even their profession or whatever, and they think because they are constantly scrutinizing themselves, they think they're bad at it, but they're actually incredibly good. And then there's people out here who are not very good at it and think that they're very, very good at things.
Yeah, it's like the Dunning-Kruger effect. And
that's it.
There's an opposite version of it, but I forget what it's called. The Dunning-Kruger effect is where, like, the more good you think you are at something, the more likely you're probably shit at it. But then there's actually the opposite, where it's like, the more you're, like for instance, for someone who's really doubtful of whether or not they're a good person, the fact that you are very critical of yourself means that you probably are a really good person.
So, in addition to the single that came out, right before we started recording, Darren sent to me the Ask About Revival website, which is the big tease for the album. And I sent it to Bill because I wanted him to look at it. And just what you sent back to me is what I want to talk about, because I think that could just start a whole nother thing. I'm just going to read it. You said, laugh my ass off. I hope this album doesn't suck. And I think that's such a funny response, because I wrote back to you that that's exactly how I felt going into like his last 3 albums. That I was kind of skeptical, a little weary, wanting it to be good, but kind of afraid it wouldn't be.
I had that feeling for what was the last Marshall Mathers LP2 with the kick it, what was that one?
Oh yeah,
Your vibe, yeah.
Berserk.
Yeah. Where I was like, this is kind of weird, but we'll see what happens. But I really enjoyed that album, and with this one, I'm like, I mean, I appreciate that. Ever since Not Afraid, the first singles haven't been like, they've been doing something different instead of just being silly Eminem. Like, Berserk was silly Eminem, but it was like also a part of him that was doing the throwback to the hip hop classics sort of thing.
Yeah. Well, when I listen to Berserk by Eminem, I don't think like, oh, this is a joke song. Like, this is his joke song. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, so with this one, like you said, it feels like, there's no real crescendo in it, and it felt like something should have happened by the third verse. And then there's the sort of feeling like, I could swear I've already heard Eminem talk about the idea that he's running out of songs to make and running out of ideas. It's just like, okay, but, at this point, you're just banging your head up against the wall with every song. Like, I'm out of ideas. We know Eminem. I'm out of ideas. We fucking know. It's like,
someone
made a similar comparison. They talked about, I mean, this is a long time ago, but they were talking about how, like, somebody, like Kelly Clarkson, kept making songs about how, like, oh, I'm totally over you. It was like, this is like if Michael Jackson made 10 other songs about how the kid is not his son. First of all, it gets old. And second of all, you just stop caring.
The kid is no longer a kid.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like, dude, get fucking over. Either get inspired or fucking stop. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it's just not hard. Like, we saw Jay-Z do it with 444. It's not like you can't be in your 40s as a rapper and still be doing shit.
That's a fantastic fucking record, in my opinion, by the way.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so it's just like, what? Like, I like, maybe this is good for, like, a verse or two or something like that, but I don't know. Like, a 5-minute song where him just bemoaning the idea that he's totally out of ideas, even though I'm hearing the lyrics in the song, and it's just like, well, you're still good. So, like, what the fuck? Like, it really does feel like, in fact, he's actually used this lyric before where he said, oh, I know you guys are tired of the woe is me Eminem, where I'm just bitching about, I wish I had it as bad as that Marshall Mathers claims he has it. It's just like, yes, please, could you please realize that you just keep doing this shit? Do something else. Like, when he did that, that diss to Trump was probably a better lead single than this was. You know? Because it was just like, oh my god, Eminem sounds inspired. You know what I mean?
I have like a really weird, like, dream album from Eminem that I want to hear. And I know it's never going to happen. But, like, I wish that he would just, because clearly, like, him going in, like, a more pop direction is, like, not working out for him. Like, just, like, as a artist, like, he is clearly not happy with it. You know what I'm saying? You can, like, I think you can kind of tell in a lot of times, like, I don't know how to say it. Because, like, he came back.
He's relied more on pop singers in the last 6 years than he ever has in his entire career.
Yeah, exactly. And so here's my advice, right? So kick all that shit, right? Like, don't do that shit anymore. And he needs to find, I know this sounds weird, but, like, an old school, like, lo-fi, like, Memphis rap producer. Like someone who's like, I know that's a very weird pairing, but like someone from Doom Shop or something.
That actually sounds pretty cool. Like if he just like, just went somewhere else with someone that no one knew about and was just like, I'm going to work on this project with you. And I just want to see what fucking happens, you know?
Basically, yeah. Cause like, I don't know, like if y'all ever get the chance, I know the names are ridiculous, but there's this group named Doom Shop. Right. And they're some of the actual rappers aren't really necessarily the focus, but they're literally like emulating like 1994, 1995, like Memphis sound. And I know that's like a lot of people did that, like Raider Clan did that and all that stuff. But like this is like it actually sounds accurate, like sonically, like. And there's a dude on there. He's like a skateboarder. His name, I swear to God, his name is MC Holocaust. Okay. And like I first heard this, his mixtape is called Concentration Camp. And I was like, okay, this has to be like a joke. I was like, this has to be some kind of weird, edgy joke. Right. And then I listened to it and I was like, yo, I'd be mad, but this tape fucking slaps. Like, it's like I don't know how to say it. It just doesn't, it just like has like a nice sound to it. So, but forget about MC Holocaust, right? Because it doesn't really matter. I feel like you can kind of put any rapper in that, like in those shoes. I'm not like hating on him, but like it's more about the vibe than it is about like the lyrical content, right?
He definitely needs a different just mode to go into. Like I've always said, like Eminem is so good at detail. He could make a concept album. Why doesn't he make like a legit story rap album?
If you know what I mean? I would love to hear him rap from a perspective of someone else, or like create a character and run with it. And like the reason why I say, and it doesn't necessarily have to be like Memphis style, but like I would really like to hear like something that sounds like it was recorded in a basement from Eminem. Like I want to hear him rapping and like think about, because like I don't know, like one of the appeals to me, like especially the first Eminem record I ever heard, I was very young, and I heard, it's not even an Eminem record, but it was just the 8 Mile soundtrack. Right. And I was like, wow, like I can, like as a child, I could see myself. Oh, I'm sorry, my virus protection just went off. Anyway, I could see like in my head, I could visualize very clearly like what was happening, you know, and if he were to do that and it'd be like this character that he's created with this like gritty production who is not famous Eminem, I think that would be very interesting, but I don't think he'll ever do that.
Hey, Bill has to dip.
Yeah, actually, I have a Young Jeezy Coke deal in 2006. I have to go attend to. Actually.
Oh shit!
Oh man.
So.
Well, Bill, thank you very much for joining us again. Even if it was brief, we'll definitely have to have you on again for a full sesh.
Yeah, definitely. I want to thank you guys so much for having me on. By the way, I'm taking this time, this like minute I got left here, to say fuck Rav. If he's real. If he's real, he'll battle me on here because he's been ducking me. Every time I hit him up, he's ducking. And I know y'all got the bread for us to battle. You know what I'm saying? Y'all got the clout tokens for us to battle over, you know?
Dude, it is fucking out there. Let it be known. Episode 132 of the Going Off podcast. The challenge has been issued. Rev, if you are out there, Bill wants to battle. This is the stage. This is the only stage in town, the Going Off podcast, because it's got everybody tuned in.
Signing off, Young Jeezy, 2006. How do I hang up?
Here's the big takeaway, and I think this is the main thing we're going to get from the album. This is purely speculation. I'm not even going to try to pretend like I know what's going on in Eminem's head. This is just what I think we're going to see. But this album will probably be Eminem matured. Even more so than on Marshall Mathers LP 2, which was probably his most mature, most reflective, kind of self-aware, kind of taking in my surroundings and where I'm at currently in my life. Like, there was that one song that sampled that, oh my god, I hate...
Oh yeah, Life is Good.
I fucking hate that. I hate the original song that's based on. But yeah, there's that.
It's kind of a dumb song, really.
There's that one.
Like,
and
my
there's
life is perfect, but I still complain.
Yeah. And then there's the other song where he's talking about, like, making amends with his mom. Like, there was so much on that album where it's like, wow, okay, where are we gonna go from here? The only two things I would be really okay with is if the next album is Eminem mature, talking about mature shit, real shit.
Hold on a second.
Are you just making a phone call to someone?
I am in the middle of one,
Yeah.
but I mean, I understand that this is important, so, you're gonna have to give me a second, man.
No problem.
I'll be, well, I was talking to,
Oh.
yeah, just,
Are you playing video games or
no, we do a podcast.
Pokemon?
No, it's like Cookie Monster.
Oh, Pokemon Monster.
But I mean, I did play Pokemon Go, yeah. He did that, y'all gonna learn Chinese.
Yeah.
I remember that joint, dude, that shit was so fly. He did that one song with Kanye West. I gotta love is that. Do y'all remember that one at all?
Yeah, and he always like singing with his little boy.
Sorry, dude. I was not expecting this to happen. There's a whole like having to pay the rent because it's going a different way. I can't really explain it right now because I'm still in the middle of doing it. But I'll be back with you in a second.
If you think we're not talking about that on the fucking podcast, you are mistaken. So, hey everybody, welcome back to the Going Off podcast. We were in the middle of discussing the new Eminem single and subsequent album, Revival, when there was a knocking, there was a rapping at Rap Critic's door, and I've since been sitting here for probably close to 20-25 minutes as Darren spoke to these people who were apparently energy providers or some shit. What the fuck? Dude, I sat here. No. I sat here and I listened to you guys go from talking about fucking video games to Pokemon Go.
Yeah, they randomly brought that up, and I was like, wait a minute, are we... this doesn't seem like a normal, like, thing. You know what I mean? Like, usually if a business company's coming in, they're talking straight business, they're trying to get the straight scoop and get out. But they're like, they were noticing things around the house and going like, oh, you're into Pokemon? And I was like, I mean, yes, but what does that have to do with the price of eggs in China? Like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, see, the only time I've ever encountered shit like that, it's when it's people trying to come by selling, like, magazine subscriptions. Are they suddenly like, hey man, cool posters on the wall? It's like, alright, look, I don't got time for this shit.
The thing that...
Get the fuck out!
The thing that confused me is that they're like, okay, so our energy provider, sometimes, like, I think it's possible for them to have other people that they go through in order to provide our energy for us. But the thing...
A type of subsidiary.
Yeah. But the thing is, we already have a fixed bill. And I think that there are other people that kind of don't have a fixed bill because they weren't able to get it or whatever.
They don't qualify.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, they don't qualify for it. And so I think they were going to those people's houses and saying, hey, your thing is a little high. If you come to us, we could get it down for you. We will work with their company. So it's not like it's not like they're a cable provider that's going like, hey, we're going to give you a different...
Yeah, the album we are actually talking about this week is Intern Aquarium by Khary, and it's a Patreon request, am I right?
Yes, it is. Yeah, this was a Patreon request by Jonathan Brogan.
Never heard of Khary before. That tends to be how these Patreon requests go. They want to bring someone to our attention that we might not be familiar with. And I dug it. I got kind of a Amine, but instead of talking about chicks he wants to fuck or relationships that he just got out of, he's talking about how much his job sucks and some other personal things, including girls he wants to fuck. Just that seems to be kind of on the back burner. I like his style a lot. I like the production. I like the beats. It's all very fun. The skits fucking suck! I am taking your role on this one. Sorry. Don't like the skits?
I don't like the skits. You're right.
What this does, it's an underlining story that this album is supposed to be telling here, and it starts with the first track. And honestly, I should have known right away how this was going to go, because the first track, Intern Lude, which is a fun little play on words there, about 1 minute left in the song stops, and then it goes into a skit, which, I've said this before on the show, I hate when songs do this, when they don't separate the skit from the song, because if you're wanting to just hear the song, you're fucking hitting that next button 2 minutes in, because you don't want to hear fucking talking between songs if you just have this shit on shuffle or something. But it goes to his boss is played by a different person, which, by the way, tell me if that doesn't sound familiar. Sound like every MC Chris album where he's talking to his record label executive.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I don't think he's ripping him off. I'm just saying it's similar. But what we got here is the first track, he's complaining about his boss being a dick. And then we get a skit where it's literally what was talked about in the song in skit form.
Yeah.
I could have done without that. Because in the song, he's talking about, like, hey, I bought you donuts or whatever, and I didn't get a receipt. And you bitched me out about not getting a receipt. And then you hear a skit where the boss bitches him out about not getting a receipt. It's like, I fucking got it. I didn't need that shit. But then it comes down to every third song from that point on, you get a minute to a minute and a half skit of the boss being a dick. And for me, it overstayed its welcome because it was like the same joke over and over and over about the boss being a dick and not appreciating Khary. It's like, I get it, man. And what's, again, not to try to compare it too much to the MC Chris things, but at least with the MC Chris songs, there was a back and forth. Here, it's just a one-sided thing with the boss bitching out Khary and you don't get a response. It's like, I didn't think they were funny at all, personally.
I actually thought they were a little funny. I thought because I thought they were different enough each skit, at least until the last one, right? Because the first one was sort of like, yeah, it could have been shorter. It could have been like, all right, we get the point that he didn't get the thing, because he kind of belabors the point in the song. So when it happens in the skit, it's just like, all right, you know, it doesn't work that much on repeated listens. But the French toast is kind of funny because it was like, you know, the boss who's already like, you know, I don't like you. I'm just working for you because I have to and I'm trying to get experience. And you're barely even paying me as it is. And you want me to fucking on company time talk to you about my sexual exploits. Like, it was kind of funny. And especially when it was just like, hey, come in the storage room and lock the door or whatever. I know it sounded like I was going to fuck you, but... like, that was a little funny. But the last song, the last skit I didn't like, because it was just like, I thought the point of the boss was that he's using you because he knows that you don't have experience, so you have to take the job. But then it became about a desperation thing, where it was like, I love you, Khary. Like, it was just like, what? Like, where's that coming from? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know. It all sounded like some weird fantasy shit.
Yeah, like at first it felt like it was going to be Office Space, but then it morphed into The Office.
Yeah,
Like-
that's a really good way to put it. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where it's like, first it's like, oh, it's sort of a parody of the workplace, and now it's just about how this character is lonely and sad. And it's like, well, that's not supposed to be the focus. Like, I don't give a shit about how the boss feels.
Yeah, am I suddenly supposed to fucking feel pity for the dickhead boss now?
Yeah.
No, but the songs themselves I really liked, which is why I messaged you saying that I felt the way the EP looks, because Khary has this, his hands are over his face, pushing his glasses up, because as much as I really liked the songs, I should have known that after that first track that there was a skit within the song, that was going to be a recurring thing. But when the second skit came up, I was like, oh, fuck, this is going to be a recurring thing. It didn't register with me at first, but when that second skit came in, I was like, shit, I got this for the rest of the album now. So it was like, I was feeling it. Shitty skit. I'm feeling it. Another shitty skit. And it was so frustrating, because I wanted to really, really like this. But, like, if I had to rate the album overall, it loses points because of the fucking skits.
Right. But, now, we've been talking about the skits the whole time. I think we need to talk about some of the songs.
Yeah.
Now, the songs are great. Honestly,
I love the songs.
Other than 2 a.m. Thirst Ballad, I think every song in here is fantastic.
See, I liked 2 a.m. Thirst Ballad, if not for the lyrics and the content. I really like the beat, that, like, the way it switches up.
I just wasn't feeling
when the
it.
chorus kicks in.
Yeah.
It's like a little fun and dancey. I didn't mind that one so much. It did seem less focused than all the other songs.
Like, yeah, she said she was down for that. She said she want rounds of that. And it's like, it feels like this should be leading into like a bigger part of the chorus, you know what I mean?
Yeah. But it didn't. Yeah, like, all the other songs are about, like, hating where you are in your job and all that shit. Yeah. And then, there's just one song about wanting to get your dick wet. It's like, alright.
And, like, there are other songs, like, there are a lot more about, and I'm not saying that you can't have that song, but it's just kind of, and it did have one or two smart moments on it, but it was just kind of like, overall, I felt like the other songs had more going for them, right? It's like, if you give us so many songs that have so much more going for them, when you give us the lesser song, it's just kind of like, unless it's really doing something different and unique and fun, it just doesn't connect with me as much, you know? I like the 60, which is where he's saying, like, being in my 20s, I've kind of treated liquor as a way to free me. He has points where he just, like, sort of talks in between verses. So he says, being in my 20s, I've kind of treated liquor as a way to free me of my insecurities, as though there's a better me I can only reach when I'm intoxicated. But that's not true. I control who I am. And I was like, that's kind of a cool, like, just moment on there. He reminded me a lot of Macklemore mixed with Kanye. Like, early Kanye at points. With his delivery sometimes.
Yeah, I could see that.
But with the social commentary of, like, being at a dead-end job and wanting to get out of it. You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of what Kanye's first album was sort of about, you know?
Okay.
And then what do you have that the chorus was like, what is me if I'm you? What is black if I'm blue? I thought that was a cool, just sort of like piece of the chorus, just sort of, you know, telling you the the point of the 60s song, and how it's actually funny. I'm quoting the chorus and just the talking that he does on this song. Not that the verses were bad, but I just think it's really interesting. He says, I don't really follow any gods or religions, though I've always believed in a connection between all life forms. But if there is a God, I highly doubt that I'd be faulted for not reading a book written by the hands of men. I was just like, oh shit. Oh shit, that's a good point.
I liked how at the end of, was it that song where he's like, yeah, I don't want to get preachy about not being preachy, that's just kind of how it happens.
Yeah. I love the honesty. I just love the honesty in a lot of these songs. You know,
There's a lot of personality in this, and it really shines through.
A lot of clever moments where he says, what does he say? A year in space, where he says, like, I wish I just had a year in space where I could just, like, not have to think about interacting with people. And he says, He's like, I don't love myself, but you keep loving me. I'm not the man that I want to be. I don't love myself, but you keep holding me. You know, it's just sort of like, wow, that's... I don't know, the way he delivers it, like, I'm not doing it justice. You know?
Right.
And then, Mutiny. So quitting and Mutiny. So it was like, you had this song Quitting, which comes after the skit of him, like, leaving, and the guy getting all desperate, which is sort of belabors the point for the skit, like, it could have been shorter. But, you know, goes into Quitting and then Mutiny, and just, like, talking about how it's like, you know what, I'm gonna pursue this rap thing, and I'm gonna do it, you know, despite the fact that it's gonna be the harder option. You know, and it's going to involve me spilling a lot of who I am, but I'm willing to do that. You know, and it's like, it's just a good message in these times. You know what I'm saying? Like, going for your dreams instead of going with a dead-end job where you're not even getting paid anyway, so what's the point? You know what I mean? Because he was like, I'm not even getting paid $1. Why am I doing this? You know, and that's a good point. It's just like, if you're doing this job that you don't like for free, and that is, you're just supposed to get experience, well, why don't you just do what you want to? Because you're already going to be doing that for free, are you not?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, do what you want if you're not getting paid anyway, and then, you know, that, who knows where that could lead to. And if it does lead anywhere, it's going to be what you actually want to do. So it's like, I appreciated that sort of message, you know?
Quitting is probably my favorite song on the EP. Just kind of bearing all of it. It's like, it's kind of where it all kind of... It's like the culmination, or the crescendo, as a callback to earlier, of all the, like, anger, all, like, fact, coming to a head.
Yeah, in fact, he has a lyric where he says, I just got $1 for a raise. What the fuck is this? I could make more money on the train doing fucking flips.
Yeah.
It's just like, dude, then why the fuck not?
Yeah, pretty much. If if it weren't for the skits, I'm gonna give it 2 ratings. If it wasn't for the skits, I'd probably give it like 4.25. Because of the skits, I'm gonna bump it down to 3.75.
Ooh. You know, I would actually give it that 4.5.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought this was really solid. I enjoyed the skits more than you did, apparently. Hey, you know what? You can have your MC Chris and I'll have my Khary. How's that?
You can have your Khary and... who did that? Who had the album with Neil deGrasse Tyson as God?
Oh, everybody.
Yeah, I didn't like that either.
Oh, come on.
I remember I didn't like those
that.
skits either.
No, I thought it was an interesting idea. It might have gone for a little long, but you know.
It did.
I think it's interesting that, like, that 1-800, the song with the suicide number. I find it interesting that became such a huge hit. Like,
it's really blowing up, isn't it?
Dude, I hear it on the radio all the fucking time, and I'm completely fine with it because I like it. But
you know, for a song with like, it's got a strong message, and I like that that the name of it is the Suicide Prevention Hotline. So if you're in a car that has that, like, readout, it shows the number on the thing. I really wish the song was better because it's pretty mediocre overall.
No, I
know
like
it is.
Oh, you a hater.
I don't wanna die. I don't wanna fucking alright. Like the whole first part of I just wanna die. It's like, alright. It's fucking
No. That's not bad. The only thing that I really can complain about is there's not really, like, a lot of rapping in it. That's first of all, but that, you know, that's just understandable. Like, if you want to do that, you know, you want to have the singing stuff, you know, to make it more emotional. But the other thing is just the way the chorus goes. Like, it's just like, you know, I've been on the low, I've been taking my time, I feel like I'm out of my mind, it feel like my life ain't mine. Who can relate? Woo! Like,
the woo! If it wasn't for the woo, I'd really like that chorus. But yeah, the woo! That's really stupid.
Like, this isn't the time or the place.
Yeah, it really isn't. See, like...
And the thing is, you know, the second part of the chorus evolves where he says, I don't want to be alive, and then I want you to be alive. And like, that evolves, but I feel like the pre-chorus should have evolved as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, instead of I've been on the low, I've been taking my time, like, I've been getting up, I've been using my time, or something like that to show that, like, something is changing. But just the who can relate? Woo! It's just such a, like, I'm not in a moment of wooing. I'm fucking suicidal, you dumbass.
Well, that about wraps it up for this week's episode of the Going Off podcast. Thank you very much for checking us out this week, and if this is your first time listening to the show, all of our old episodes are on SoundCloud and iTunes. Just search the Going Off podcast. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Patreon. And until next week, for the Going Off podcast, I'm Muse.
And I'm the rap critic. Hey, we didn't talk about penises or vaginas or much about masturbation. I'm disappointed.
I demand a refund. Where's my loot box?